Afternoon, Cherries fans, and welcome to the latest in our opposition preview shows. Following the dismal display against Derby, we take a welcome break from the league when League Two side Crawley Town, who spectacularly disposed of Leeds in the third round, visit Dean Court. The game has been rescheduled due to a number of COVID cases in the Crawley team. I'm sure I speak for all Cherries fans in wishing those affected recover as soon as possible. My guest today has had a foot in both camps. He played for both the Cherries and Crawley in 2 spells for each. A fan favourite of both clubs, it's a pleasure to welcome back to Back of the Nets, Matt Tubbs.
Hi there, you okay?
Afternoon, Matt. How are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Very well.
Excellent. Thank you for agreeing to come back on the show. As you joined us on the show with Josh McCoy, the link for that video will actually follow this opposition preview. So anybody who hasn't seen it will be able to watch that again. But I wanted to discuss your history within the FA Cup. Now, do tell us a little bit more about some of your memories in the FA Cup for both clubs.
So with regards to the FA Cup with Bournemouth, I don't really remember featuring too much with the FA Cup in any sort of FA Cup run in my time there. But with Crawley, we definitely had 2 good FA Cup runs. I was there for 18 months, and in the first year we had the amazing run where we finally got to Old Trafford, and that was the 5th round of the Cup, and that was amazing. It was an amazing for the club at the time, and for the fans to actually see that and go to Old Trafford was unbelievable. And then the following year we then got to the 5th round again. My last game was actually in the 4th round against Hull. We went up there again. We wasn't expected to win or get anything out of the game. We ended up winning 1-0, and obviously on the coach coming home, I'd already done my deal with Bournemouth at that point. So going into the game, I was already knowing I was going to be signed from Bournemouth the following Monday. So it was a little bit of a strange one for me in that sense. But we got through, and then I went to sign for Bournemouth, and then they drew Stoke at home in the FA Cup. So they got to the 5th round that year. Well, we got to the 5th round that year, but I didn't end up playing in the 5th round because I left to come to Bournemouth.
Oh, fantastic. One game, of course, Matt, that will stick out in the memories of Crawley fans especially, is that game back in 2011 against Manchester United, fellow Red Devils. I seem to remember you nearly grabbing a goal in that game, and you ran United very, very close. Do tell us a little bit more about that game.
I remember we went up to Wrexham in the week to play him on a Tuesday night, and Sir Alex Ferguson was there watching. So it just goes to show the credit to him that he didn't take it lightly. He wanted to see what we were all about, and he was there in the stands watching. So the whole experience of having him sort of come to watch, and we went up there on a Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday to make the most of it. We had a little tour around the stadium beforehand, just so we didn't turn up there and be almost starstruck as we got there. So we were kind of like half familiar with the surroundings when prior to the game. So then obviously the game kicked off, and again we weren't expected to get anything out of the game. I think everyone would have had a home win all day, and we actually done all right. We held our own. They had a couple of chances which they didn't take. I think they scored on the stroke of half time with a header from Wes Brown. But all throughout the game, I mean, credit to the Crawley fans. There was 10,000, 11,000 Crawley fans, and you couldn't really hear the United fans. Like I said, apart from the goal that they scored, the cheer was huge. It was massive, and but the Crawley fans were singing because they saw it as an amazing day out, and they seized on the opportunity to celebrate. And like I said, you couldn't hear the 60-odd thousand United fans. You could just hear all the Crawley fans, which was really, really strange. And I had a chance towards the end of the game. I think Ben Smith knocked it on, and it was up in the air, and it was above my head, so it was an overhead. I ended up having good connection on it, but Wes Brown, put his head in where it hurts as such, and it managed to take a little ricochet off the top of his head and go out. Frustratingly for me, the ref gave a goal kick for it, so it looked like I missed.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was amazing achievement. I think if that would have went in, that was a week after Rooney did it against Man City as well. So it would have been amazing if it went in, but it didn't. And then we had that chance right at the end where we hit the crossbar as well. So like you said, we ran we held our own against an amazing opposition. It's a shame we didn't get anything out of the game because it would have been amazing to get them back down to the Broadfield Stadium. But it wasn't to be. Obviously, United are United, aren't they? They're an amazing side.
Yes. And I seem to remember as well, was that the season that Crawley did climb out of the conference into the Football League as well?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So we ended up getting promotion to the Football League as well, and I think we had a backlog of 6 or 7 games to play catch up on because we had such a good cup run. And I remember Wimbledon being massively ahead of us, 10, 11, 12 points ahead of us, but we had a lot of the games in hand. So we knew that as soon as that cup run was over, we had to really concentrate on the league, and that's what we did. We ended up winning. I think we ended up losing 4 games that whole season, and we were on a crest of a wave after the United game, and we just went strength to strength, and then we ended up winning the game with maximum points, and I don't even think the record's been broken yet. So it was it was an amazing season all round.
And then the following season, of course, I believe it was the back-to-back promotion, wasn't it, as well, up to League One?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Obviously, I left in January, obviously to come to Bournemouth, so I didn't see the back end of the season out. But even the first half of the season, I loved it there. Like I said, we went on that cup run again. We got to the 5th round, and like I said, we were on the crest of a wave from the season before, and there was no stopping us. The players that the manager brought in weren't necessarily the best players in the league, but he brought the players in that could fit into the group and really adapt to the culture that Crawley had. And that's credit to the manager. But it was an amazing season. It was amazing 24 months for the football club.
And just going back to the FA Cup, Matt, do you think since then the FA Cup has lost its charm a little bit?
I wouldn't necessarily say lost its charm. I think it's overlooked by the bigger teams. I think that they could potentially play weaker sides to obviously rest their key players and focus on other competitions such as Champions League and the Premier League. But I don't really think it's lost its charm as such, because you even see now, like the lower league teams, they're beating teams a lot higher than them in the leagues. And I mean that is the joy of the FA Cup. You always have a good non-league team who has a good cup run, and it's amazing to see. Even I think there's a team up north now who are doing really well. I think it might be Cherries. They're doing amazing. But even obviously me living where I live, you still want to keep an eye on them. You want to support them because it's an amazing cup competition, because they would never get the opportunity to play against a good team again like that. And the same as Crawley to a degree when they got a Premier League club like Leeds, and they obviously, like you said in the start of the show, they turned them over quite comfortably.
And there's been some fantastic stories so far, as you mentioned. Of course, Crawley beating Leeds 3-0. Absolutely fantastic achievement. And then, of course, you've got Chorley and Marine as well. Marine, a team that nobody really knew about. So, yeah, I can understand, of course, why you say it hasn't lost its charm. But it's those stories that make the FA Cup, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, it's the only competition that you can have the opportunity to be a Marine or a Chorley and play against a great side. Like I said, Crawley had Leeds. Did anyone really fancy Crawley to beat Leeds at Crawley? Probably not. But watching the game, they were amazing. Leeds weren't at the game. They were off the pace a little bit, and Crawley stuck to the game plan and obviously won 3-0. So it was that's the sort of the love and affection that the FA Cup has on people.
Now, do tell us a little bit more about this Crawley side that have done so well so far in the league.
Yeah, they're doing really well. I think they're sat 9th in the table at the moment, just outside the playoffs with a game in hand. So, Yems and Bradbury are doing a great job down there. Again, they're signing good players. They've just lost, I think, probably one of their main threats going forward. Max Waters, I think they've just lost to Cardiff, so he'll be a big loss for them. But they've got Nadasan and they've got Tom Nichols, who are amazing forwards, and them two played against Leeds, and I thought them two are outstanding. I even sent Nadasan a message afterwards saying, I thought that you and Tom Nichols were brilliant today. You literally ran them ragged, and you're the difference that you made the result, and that's why you're in the next round, because you two and the team as a whole were fantastic. And
of course, you did mention there as well, Matt, about knowing John Yems and Lee Bradbury, of course, who were at Dean Court as well. What was your relationship like with them? Are you surprised to see them doing so well?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, they're football people. They love football. They wear their heart on the sleeve. I was a colleague of Bradders. I played with Bradders when I was at Bournemouth when I had that loan spell, and then obviously I went away, and then Bradders then got the manager's job, and then he signed me. So I've been a player alongside him, and he's been a manager of Bournemouth for me, and then having a Waterlooville. So I know Bradders relatively well in the football regards, and he's like I said, he's a football man, and like Yemsy as well. Yemsy's the same. He was obviously manager of Crawley many moons ago before he went to Bournemouth, and he's done a relatively good job there. And again, he lives near Crawley, and he loves the town, and he loves the football club. So I've got no doubt in my mind that he's going to give it absolutely 100%. Because if you have that much affection about something, you give it your all, and that's what they do.
One recent signing, though, and to be honest, it rose a lot of people's eyebrows when it happened, was Mark Wright, who many people will know from The Only Way is Essex. How did that move even come about?
Yeah, again, like I said, Mark Wright played for Crawley a few years ago. I think when they're obviously down the leagues a little bit lower, when Yemsy was actually manager. So Yemsy was manager and Mark Wright was a player. So they've always had that connection as well. So the only way I can think of is Mark Wright's obviously gone there to train, get fit, and obviously Yemsy's probably saw enough of him to give him a chance. And I think it's a credit to him because he's 34 now, and he's just signed his first professional contract at a football club. So I think, no matter who he is, I'm sure Yemsy's, like I said, seen enough of him to even put him on against Leeds. So, for anyone who, if you're 19 and you get released by a club, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I made my league debut at 20, must have been 24 or 25. So, there's hope. There's hope all throughout. And like I said, credit to Mark Wright, he's gone into Crawley. He got his debut, and who knows where it might lead to him. It might lead to him, playing X amount of games coming to the end of the season. If they get promoted, he's then potentially a League One player, which is, hard to think about. But like I said, I'm sure Yemsy and Bradders have seen enough of him to give him a chance, and that's why he's obviously taken his chance.
And just looking at Crawley's league position, Crawley sit in 9th place in League Two, but they're only 5 points off Carlisle and Forest Green in 3rd and 4th. Is there an expectation now that the club could win promotion, considering that good form?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you, like say, cast your mind back to 10 years ago where we had that FA Cup run, and then Crawley are in exactly the same situation now. They're playing catch up on games, but there's every chance that they can do it. I believe that they can do it, and I think if the players believe themselves that they can do it, and I know the manager will, there's absolutely no reason why they can't. And it'll be a great, like I said, it'll be a great story to have again, to say that you got to this round of the FA Cup where they beat Leeds. Obviously, however they get on against Bournemouth is, it could potentially be irrelevant because the league is probably their priority. They're probably even thinking that the FA Cups might be hampering their opportunities due to could get injured. Because their focus, because are Crawley going to win the FA Cup? No, they're not going to win the FA Cup. But yeah, they'll have a great run out of it. But can they get promoted? Yeah, absolutely. So I think they'll probably just be more focused on the league as soon as the FA Cup's finished.
I'm going to put you on the spot, Matt. Seeing as you've got an association with both clubs, and I do this with every guest I have on the Opposition Preview show, how do you think it's going to go?
So that's a tough one because, like I said, no one really expected them to be Leeds, and obviously watching the game, they beat them on the counter attack, and obviously Bournemouth are a footballing side that they'll go at them, and I'm sure Jason will breed that into them, especially after the last couple of results they had, and they're going to want to win, and I would have thought that they're going to play a relatively strong side because coming off the back of a couple of poor results, they're going to need to win to get the confidence to then go back to the league. So it's a really tough one. I don't really want to put a score on it. If I had to say anything, it would be 2-2.
2-2. Yeah, well, of course. There's no replays this year, Matt, so I'm going to have to put you on the spot.
All right, I'm going to go. I think in light of the results lately, I think that Bournemouth will win, but I think it'll be a close game because I think Bournemouth will need the win for the confidence to go into the obviously back into the Championship campaign. So I think that they'll have to play a strong side because obviously if they don't get the result against Crawley, obviously there's no fans. Obviously, you can go to the ground to the stadiums, but fans will start wondering if it was potentially the right decision to get Jason in, because that's what fans do. That's what they're entitled to do. They're entitled to have an opinion. So I believe that he has to and he should play the strongest team.
Of course, with all the COVID cases that have happened at Crawley, and is there going to be any players that do you reckon that will be unavailable for the game due to that?
Again, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I don't know I don't think they've come out and said what players have contracted the virus. So it could be a case of majority of the fringe players. They just turn out with a strong side. So I don't think that they will say obviously who's contracted it. So I think it's just a case of just wait and see until Tuesday, see the lineups, and then go from there, I guess.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, thank you again for joining me on this opposition preview, Matt, and all the it's been a pleasure as always, and it's good to have you back on back of the net. So all the best for everything that you put your hand to, and yeah, hopefully very soon we'll be able to welcome you back again.
Yeah, perfect. That'd be great. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all.
All right. Cheers. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining me on this opposition preview again. Do remember to hit the like, subscribe and the bell button as well to be alerted to all the latest videos that we do on Back of the Net. During the Crawley game, there will be a watch along with Sam and Tom, so do make sure that you do watch that with loads of extra content as well. But until the next video, until the next Reading preview, I'll see you then. Up the Cherries.